Hey all, your OS Reviews. In this video, we're taking a quick look at the NEKOSpACE Orchard. This is a smart modular lighting system, and it's already picked up the Red Dot as well as IF Design Award here in 2024. It snaps on using magnetic pogo contacts and also includes accessories such as an optional magnetic knob that you can turn on and off for dimming the lights, and even touts a USB Type-C port, which provides up to 65 watts for charging your computer simultaneously. Other styles can be a bit more traditional and versatile, pointing downwards, and again, you can rotate it just using the magnetic 360-degree base. So a pretty neat desk decor item, light for a office, any space really. There's even a zoom light, as you can tell, that you can focus in and out of. In fact, it even claims to be RGB, reacting to the beat of music. Another module here is going to be even a fan, if you're trying to circulate the air inside of a room, so on and so forth. A very modular, adjustable smart light. More specifically, here are all the different accessories that we saw earlier in that quick overview. Zoom light, fan, smart controller, snowball light, and the lamp itself plugs into the wall using a GAN-powered adapter, so it supplies up to 105 watts. It's also a rotatable charger, and as you can tell here, has magnetic pogo contacts, so if you accidentally trip over the wire, it's not going to bring the entire lamp down. And this will be launching initially through Kickstarter, going for roughly $200, which may seem a little steep at first, but keep in mind that you get all these different adapters, essentially combining multiple lamps, fan, as well as fast charger. I think the price is a little bit more acceptable if you want something more minimalistic from a design perspective. So we have the main actual lamp base, in addition to all of the separate adapters, which actually comes in a pretty loaded box. But starting with the base, it also says, "Just met is wonderful." The fan includes a fragrance compartment, so if you want to use it as some form of air freshener, that can be another function. I do like how the entire packaging is just made out of cardboard, so it should be pretty eco-friendly and easy to recycle. In fact, even the inside here is wrapped with just tissue paper, which is milled out of a chunk of aluminum alloy, feeling quite premium, with also a soft touch rubber base here at the very bottom to prevent it from sliding around. And then the next section is going to be the actual pole, still crafted out of aluminum alloy with the logo here at the very top. Definitely not as tall as a floor lamp, and otherwise just snaps into the base. It looks like using 4 screws, which, speaking of, are going to be located in this paper bag, really taking just a minute or so for you to just snap it into place. The base then connects to the power supply using a pogo contact there at the end. Now quickly checking out the accessories, beginning with the round sphere light, aka dubbed the Luna. Although I believe we have one of each module included in the base kit. If you want more of a certain style, you can pick that up separately as accessories. So here we have the specs again in terms of this lamp drawing 3 watts. It is also dimmable and constructed out of glass and aluminum alloy, very interestingly, not just plastic. You can also see it draws about 130 lumens in terms of brightness. Although it looks like the Luna also comes in 3 sizes. They have a 1007, a 1008, and 1009. The smallest sphere is around 4.5 inches, and then increases to 5.5 inches and 6.6 inches on the larger units. This is the smallest variant, and indeed, I can confirm that it is constructed out of glass. Maybe feels a bit more like a light bulb, although it is a perfect sphere. Cover there for the pogo contacts, and then also a power switch here as well. Alright, so with our first lamp unboxed, you can tell that the rail system actually works on both the front as well as the back. Kind of align it onto any place on the pole, and then it'll just snap into place. It looks pretty good and seems to secure itself quite well, so it won't really move around if you're giving it a bit of a shake. And the next accessory is going to be the LED strip lighting, which is RGB, although this one will fill up pretty much the entire back of the lamp. So if you want to place more of the lights or bulbs on it, just keep that in mind. This one accessory is going to occupy a few more of the slots. Again, still magnetic, constructed out of aluminum alloy, snapping into place, slightly diffused, called the mood bar, drawing 4 watts, and also the pogo contacts, as well as having a dedicated switch on the side as well to go through some of the modes. Alright, so this one we can just align and then kind of snap into place, or if we wanted to, we can also push the light here a little bit higher just by using our fingers, because it is, again, magnetic. Specs for the mood bar are printed here, and in terms of dimming, looks like there is a sensor which can detect if you're waving your hand over it. You can use different gestures to increase and decrease the brightness by swiping up and down, as well as adjust into the other color modes based on your preferences, which is pretty neat. Next module is the mini fan / aromatherapy center. Technically, it's the first accessory that does not contain any light, drawing 3.5 watts, and this one also has a pivot hinge that you can rotate a bit more freely, as well as a power switch on the very front to turn it on and off. And as far as fan speed is concerned, those specs are also printed here. So up to 3 miles per second or 6,200 rotations per minute with 3 adjustable fan speed modes. Next one here is going to be focus spotlight. And it looks like it also comes in a few different colors, including golden, silver, or black. For instance, the round sphere light had kind of a rose gold base instead compared to the silver on the fan, as you can tell. So you can mix and match colors based on your preferences. R is again the kind of rose gold shade. And you can again twist on this particular lamp to bring the light kind of more in and out of focus, changing the distance similar to a projector. And the entire barrel here is constructed out of aluminum alloy, quite premium, again with the same design here for the pogo contacts, as well as a slight pivot hinge as well. And by the way, all of the modules also have a lock. Since again they are magnetic, you can push them up and down on the pole, or you can lock it into place and it will prevent the module here from moving in the future. Next one is the Sola L. This one is in a space gray, but still built out of aluminum alloy, feeling quite premium. It's kind of similar to the zoom lamp or headlamp, except it doesn't actually move. So it's just a simple spotlight with a power key, but again, still using the pogo contacts, and you can slightly pivot it as well. This could be more suitable for reading or work purposes, drawing up to 230 lumens. Our light is now looking a little bit like a mini tree here, quite interesting. And the next one here is called the Sola M. So we already saw the L, which is basically the large version. This is the same light, but in just a slightly smaller size, with the same overall ergonomics. But here's a side-by-side comparison. Modules are inclusive of the rotatable knob for controlling the other lights, so basically a remote. But this one's a little bit shorter, doesn't take up as much space. You'll be able to adjust the brightness of the lights, dimming it more easily. And for now, I'm just going to snap it into the smaller spot here at the very rear. Again, similar to Legos, we can also swap the orientation. Handy dock, which is one that wasn't really advertised in their earlier images and video, interestingly enough, but it is essentially just another USB Type-C port, because again, the light itself only has one built into the stem, so if you want to charge 2 devices simultaneously, like a laptop and phone, you can add a second Type-C port using this magnetic adapter. Now, this level of modularity is pretty cool, I have to admit. So let's say I want to attach it now onto the base. Now we have 2 Type-C ports. Now the only thing I will say is there doesn't seem to be an adapter for a full-size USB Type-A port at this point in time, possibly because the rail system is on the more slim side, only has the width to accommodate a Type-C port. But considering that these are getting progressively more and more standardized, even iPhones are using them, including laptops and most smartphones, a Type-C to Type-C cable is not too problematic. And we have one more light, which is called the Shine. It is the more flat style LED lamp. This one is coated in a layer of soft touch rubber with a power key on the very top, still using the same pogo magnetic contact system to snap into place. The plastic here is textured to diffuse the lighting, and this one is definitely the brightest out of the adjustable lights that we've seen so far, getting upwards of 950 lumens using just this one light. And so now our lamp is looking something like this, but again, all the components are completely adjustable. If you want to swap the position, change the color, get more of a similar variant or other sizes, it's all based on what you want. It's quite easy to also change their angle up and down if you want to flex it left and right as well. Completely up to you. Turn it into kind of a wall light when you want some ambient mood lighting compared to just facing downwards for work. And the remaining boxes here are just for the chargers. So we have the main charging block, kind of like an ultimate version of Magsafe, because not only is the tip connecting to the lamp, but the side onto the charger is also removable using magnets. If you're switching between different continental styles, like US versus UK versus Europe, and there really is a ton of attention to detail here, because even the braided cable, which is again using that Magsafe inspired magnetic tip, has different colors, including black, gold, and silver, just like on the lamp accessories that you can pick between. So everything here is customizable. Let's go ahead and snap on the US style tip for now. We can lock it into place. After plugging the lamp into power, it will turn on automatically all of the lights. So let's actually take a quick look at how all of these will function, starting with the first kind of reading style lamp. So again, it becomes pretty bright, evenly diffused using the plastic plate here, and you can pretty easily again adjust the angle. We can tap on it once to turn it on or off, as well as hold for a couple of seconds to go into an ultra bright mode. And at nearly 1,000 lumens, this is extremely bright. Even if all the other lights were turned off, it would be perfectly sufficient for reading, getting work done. If you're looking at a book or reading a piece of paper, this is going to be a Kindle with the backlight turned off. As you can tell, it still is perfectly visible, remaining a pretty comfy experience for note-taking and getting work done as your sole source of lighting. Holding for a couple more seconds also goes into a minimum mode, which can be actually decent enough as a mood lamp or a night light. So if you're now facing it towards perhaps the wall and you're just getting up to use the restroom at night, again, this actually is pretty versatile in terms of the range of brightness and dimness that it can achieve. And now moving into our next light, which is the aka zoom light. So this one is probably best suited as a decor light pointing at the wall, similar to the bar light there at the rear. So if we do a quick demonstration, and using the focus dial, we can get it to become a smaller circle here, more concentrated as far as the beam is concerned, versus a kind of larger spotlight. It kind of reminds me of something like a sunset projection lamp, if you guys have seen those, but the color is a bit more neutral, and all of these ones are powered by LED bulbs, so they are pretty energy efficient, not going to be too hot or warm, even as you're touching it with your hands or fingers. Now you can also tap on it once to turn it completely on and off, as well as hold for a couple more seconds to go into the adjustments for brightness level. Into the maximum, it is going to be a bit more powerful, as you can tell there. Next one here is going to be the fan/diffuser that you can tap on once to turn it on. It is a brushless motor for the fan, so relatively quiet on the minimum mode, but you can definitely feel the air from even a couple of feet away. Tap on it again to go into the middle mode in terms of speed, and then once more into the maximum mode, it's going to turn red. It's actually quite an aggressive fan speed for something so small. Moving down to the lamp, we now come to the slightly more simple spotlights, which don't have the zoom capability, but still acts as a decent source of illumination. And similarly, you're able to hold for a couple seconds to change the brightness into the maximum versus the minimum if you're using it as kind of a glow lamp. So if we really wanted to turn on the brightness to become maximum for all of these lights, as you can tell, I would say the lumen output is actually probably as good as some floor lamps, because you have so many lights stacked into one that all adds together into a pretty high maximum lumen output compared to a regular table lamp that probably only has one light. And last but not least, now we have the kind of Luna round sphere light, which is the most gentle and I think probably one of my favorites as far as an ambient light is concerned. The other ones might be more of a focused point, but this one is definitely adding more of a gentle ambiance into the room and slightly more warm in its glow as well. But similarly, we can long press for a couple of seconds to kind of dim the light into the minimum setting, a super gentle light, versus getting it to the maximum brightness, which looks quite good in terms of evenness of the illumination. We can also dim some of the surrounding lights and it becomes a little bit more mysterious. Again, similar to some of the moon lamps, also looking quite good if you want just a cool decor light or mood light. Now finally, on the very back here is where we have the controller as well as the RGB LED light strip. Again, the power key allows us to turn the strip on and off. The gestures also seem to work pretty well if you are kind of waving here at the back with your hand. Even in a darker environment, you're able to switch back and forth between the different profiles. Although the brightness output is definitely the lowest out of all the other lights, it still is quite fun with a more modern vibe to it. So you can go into individual colors as well as transition into some animated patterns like this one, which is flashing through the rainbow patterns, also looking pretty cool, I have to admit. If you put it against kind of a white wall or surface, it really does come to life. The next one here is going to be also bouncing on an individual color before transitioning into other ones, stacking into the LED strip. The next pattern here is going to be a more gentle gradient finish between other colors. Next one here is more of a crazy rainbow pattern, as you can tell there. We can also go into a mode that will stack up and down across the width of the bar and change colors. Once more here, that will kind of meet and cross in the middle. So two different colors at the same time, also looking quite neat. One here that also bounces in the center before then rippling back into the original setting that we saw there from before. So not bad in terms of all the different effects that you can play with. One thing I will say though is to add all of these lights and be able to control it using the rotary dial, you have to kind of set that up manually. By default, if you're pressing on the dial, it's actually not going to do anything. And how you set it up is press on the keys of the lights for about 5 seconds until they start to pulsate. So starting with the Luna lamp here just as a demonstration, and now we can see it start to flash. We can now tap on the dial here as confirmation. And now that we are successfully paired, we can use the dial to again increase or decrease the brightness in a more smooth way, as well as again tap on it once to turn the entire light on or off. So we can add desired lights to be controlled to the dial in the same way just by holding for about 5 seconds. And now we have all of the lights added onto the controller, so we can dim them all simultaneously, as you can tell, or make them brighter and brighter, and also turn everything on or off at simply one click of a button. Or again, if you want to keep certain lights independent from the controller, you can choose to pair them or not. One thing I will say though is most of these modules, including the bulbs, as well as the headlight here, is only going to have this one color temperature. It seems like making it warmer or colder might not be feasible in the current kit, so that might be an area that they can further expand on. And also, this particular setup is currently all controllable offline, just using this one knob or the buttons on the light. So it's not necessarily compatible with any companion app with built-in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I've gone ahead and slightly rearranged the order of the lights to space them apart a little bit more. The last function that we'll briefly test is going to be the charging using the Type-C port. So I'm going to plug this into a laptop, for instance, and as you can tell, the charging will then start. And the same really applies to a phone as well. As you can tell, they're charging quickly thanks to the gallium nitride or GaN-based adapter that it's using underneath. So it can fully charge smartphones and laptops alike, usually in just an hour or so. So really not bad from a performance point of view. You may have seen on the advertisements, they called it quote-unquote MET as part of the packaging, and that really is standing for Secure Low Voltage Magnetic Track Platform. So it's the name that they've given to the platform or rail where you can attach the lights and other modules. I'll also point out that this company, NEKOSpACE, actually have been around for a little while. Even though this particular model is again launching on Kickstarter, they already sell some of their other lights on their website, including larger floor lamps that are using the same modular concept if you want a freestanding lamp that will be more noticeable in a room, for example. So this is just taking some of their earlier products and making a more miniaturized version as far as the track or rail system is concerned. So that is more or less it as far as our quick hands-on review of, again, the NEKOSpACE Orchard. And I have to say that it is one of my favorite desk lamps that I've reviewed because of all of the various ways that you can customize it. Pretty smart as far as that modular concept is concerned, with fast charging support as well. Maybe the only thing I would like to see added, though, would be perhaps a companion app support, allowing you to potentially also control it using voice assistants like Alexa or Google Assistant. But again, this model is really an offline lamp. It really is just the engineering part, hardware-wise, that kind of sets it apart from the crowd. Still quite neat, though, if you're looking for a unique desk decor lamp that can transform into many different styles and applications based on what you snap into it. You can learn more details if interested in the links down below, but for now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the NEKOSpACE Orchard Smart Desk Lamp.